women. Welcome to Resolute Stories for August. Today I'm sitting down with Amifel Cliff-Eribo, who is a creative director and filmmaker, creatively employing various forms of media such as photography and film to tell true stories about Black people in Africa and the West across various time periods. Welcome, Amifel.
Thank you, Shara.
No, of course. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really happy that you're here.
Yeah.
I mean, I've given you a brief intro.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about yourself?
About me.
Yeah.
I am Amifel. I'm from Essex. I work in media. I've been in media for a while. For a very long time. I'm someone who's passionate about young girls, passionate about the Black community and Africa. I'm an only child of my parents, so I have a lot of friends. Not a lot of friends, actually.
You do. You have a lot of friends.
But I have a handful of close friends, but I do know a few people. But yeah, I love being around friends and family. I have cousins that are literally like my sisters. And yeah, that's, I guess, in a semi-nutshell.
Okay,
Who I
cool.
am.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for telling us about yourself. So, I mean, kind of like we alluded to in the intro, I understand that you storytell through various forms of media, such as photography and film.
Yeah.
So how did you get into this line of work and why?
How did I get into it?
Yeah.
So actually I remember, I was trying to remember, how did I get into like film and photography? So I had a friend back in secondary school, and she did photography, and she had this massive camera. It just looked so big. It just looked like, I don't know, some amazing gadget that just did amazing things. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I want my hands on that. That looks so cool. That looks like a really cool tool. I want to try it. And then when it came up to about my birthday, I asked if she could do a photo shoot for me. So at that moment, at that time in my life, I was thinking maybe I can go into modelling, because everyone used to gas me. But
Okay. Well, they stopped gassing you.
But then when I look back at the pictures, I'm like, what was I thinking? What was everybody thinking? But anyway, I got her to do a photo shoot in the park for my birthday. Had like changes of outfits, 2 outfit changes. And then she brought her camera along and she edited it, and she was really like cool. I mean, back then it was all about retro edits, with like the blues and the teal colours. So that was like in trend back then. So got her to do that for me, and then she edited them. At the time that she took the photos, she obviously showed me the previews, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it's so crispy clear. Like why is it so clear? And so I think that was, at that point I knew that, oh my gosh, I need to get one of these cameras and like start taking photos. That was that in secondary school? Yeah, that was in secondary school. Then I went to college, and then I picked up photography in college.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the starting point of me getting into photography and like actually forcing my parents to buy me a camera. It was literally a fight in the house.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I was like, this is what I want to do. You need to support me. And they were like, no, you need to do something serious. You need to be in sciences and be a doctor.
Engineer.
All of those.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's not, I don't want to do that. I hate sciences. So we came to like a medium, and they were like, okay, you want to do photography. You want me to do science. So can I do forensic photography? So it's like the in-between of science and photography merging together. So so I ended up picking sciences, biology, chemistry, forensic science and photography at college. But I failed woefully in sciences. It just wasn't my thing.
Failed woefully.
I failed. I was getting like D's, E's, and it just wasn't making sense.
Yeah.
But at that point, I didn't have a camera, and my parents were like, you don't need one. Once you finish university, you can then buy one. But I kid you not, I miss this part about me. I'm
Mm.
quite stubborn. If I'm passionate about something and I know it's right for me, there's that stubbornness about like standing my ground and actually going, you know, full on with that decision that I've made. So in the house, like nobody was talking to each other. I would slam the doors. I want my camera. Like, you're gonna get me this camera.
That's only child behaviour right there.
Oh no!
We couldn't do that in my house, but yeah, continue.
Really? But yeah, no. So eventually they came around, and I think my dad was like, "Okay, I'll get you the camera.
Mhm.
What one do you want?"
Mm.
And I picked the most recent camera that had just come out at that time.
Mhm.
And I think back then it was like, I think it was like £500 or £600, very expensive for a camera. Now imagine from an African household where we're used to having like small cameras that all like the recycle cameras that you can just click and you can just take it to the shop and print out the photos. So imagine asking an African parent to spend £500 on a camera.
But did he do it?
So he was like, "Yeah, I'll get you the camera." Then my mom was like, "Oh no, I'll get you the camera." I was like, what's going on? So who's gonna get me the camera now? After so much battling, like storming and slamming of doors in the house.
Wow.
So I think that weekend, my dad and I went to PC World.
Mhm.
Back then it was PC World, and then I was like, "Yeah, this is the camera that I want." And by then, obviously, I'd read through the specs. I knew the megapixels. I was like, yeah, this is definitely gonna like get me the same quality that girl had when she did the photo shoot of me. So I had the highest camera at that point back then. Like, and when I went to college, I was like, yeah, this is my camera. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, you got a camera. Oh my gosh, it's so expensive. But that was the beginning of my journey in photography. So like just playing with the camera and like, yeah, getting used to it.
Was it mainly just photos, or was it also film with that camera?
It was mainly photos. Then I didn't really know much about film. I didn't know if I wanted to get into film. I hadn't really explored, or I wasn't really introduced to film back then. It was just photos, like getting really nice, beautiful photos and editing them and making them look stunning and making people look amazing. That was what was going through my head. I wanted everyone to experience that same quality photo that I got at my photo shoot. But then I look back now and I'm like, what was I thinking? I mean, the angles that the photos were taken at, my poses, like everything was just off. Like you'd see me like posing like this in one of the photos, and I'm looking that way, and like all this Vogue model, you know, magazine type cover shoots. And I don't know who I thought I was, to be honest, but yeah, no, I didn't know anything about film. I wasn't really introduced to film back then. It was as I went along, got to uni, and I was like, okay, maybe this is an avenue that I need to go down.
Okay, that's really interesting. Okay, so tell us then about your first ever photography project.
My first photography project.
And your first ever film produced.
First photography project. So when I started out in photography, trying to like get experience, I would shadow people. Like anyone that I saw that did photography or was working in like the creative space, I would literally latch onto them. Hi, my name is Ami. This is what I'm doing. Can I come and show you? Can I come and help out? So I started off like doing BTS shoots, and the photographers that I was shadowing back then would like let me like take shots of the models as well. So then I can like take that back and like go home and like edit it. My first, I don't know if I should count this as my first ever photography project. Is it as an amateur or as a professional?
I mean, I would say as an amateur.
As an amateur.
But like, you can say both.
As an amateur, I think this was during like college days, because I took photography as a course. I think we had an assignment to do, and I got one of my friends. Well, which one was first? I don't know. I've got quite a few in my head, but I don't know which one was first. But I think this was like my full-on first like creative project. I got two friends to dress up in like tribal marks. Like had a makeup artist come by and like do the dots on their face, and had like cheetah prints behind. So it was like an African themed photo shoot. You see it?
No, I'm laughing because I've been like the model as an and I'm like hoping they had those photos on Instagram, but
really?
that's making me laugh. Not anymore, thank God.
But yeah, I think that was my first ever. So I came up with the idea. I did a mood board for the photo shoot.
Is that something you normally do?
Yeah, something. It's just it's a process as to what you want at the end delivered. So you come up with, you obviously have an idea, a theme that you want to like do or go for.
Yeah.
Then you find inspirations, you plonk it onto a mood board, and you say, okay, this is how you want the makeup to look like. This is how I want like the set to look like. This is how I want the models to pose, and then you bring that all together. So when I was speaking to models and makeup artists, I was like, okay, this is what we're going for. Can we work with this? But then I think that was my first one in college. My first one outside of college. Can I name names?
I mean,
No.
I don't know the people, so you
No.
can. You can. I mean, would they mind?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if they would actually. But they're quite known now. They're doing very, very well now. I caught up on one of the makeup artists, and again got some models because I'd been like shadowing and like doing BTS on photo shoots, so I would like connect with and network with the models on set. So I'm like, oh, this is what I do. Like, we should like sometime like get together and collaborate.
Yeah.
So yeah, got their contacts, did a mood board again, and then showed them this is what I'm going for. This time it was more of like Vogue, more of like magazine type fashion photo shoot. So I had the model get paint and like drip it on the model's face, and she was dark skin, like really, really dark skin, beautiful texture and complexion. And we had like paint, like blue and yellow paint dripping. I think it's probably on my website.
Yeah.
Up until today, like that's one of my favorite shoots I've done, like as an amateur. But yeah, that's my favorite. I mean, my first two amateur and professional shoots. That's when I was getting into like, okay, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know how to edit. I can like retouch and, you know, take away the wrinkles and maybe like thin the nose or thin the cheeks and just give it that. I went a bit too far on some photos, but yeah, I was really in my element. My first film project was again back at college. I think college really gave me that space to really like explore and like try out different things and just be creative and do anything and everything, just like test my skills and test my knowledge on things. I did a film on, is it Proverbs 5? Yeah, it was Proverbs 5. Let me check what let's check what Proverbs, because maybe that might jog my memory a little bit. I'll read it very quickly if that's okay.
That's fine.
I don't want to read it in the King James version. My son, yeah, definitely Proverbs 5. So it's about avoid immoral women. My son, pay attention to my wisdom, listen carefully to my wise counsel, then you will show discernment and your lips will express what you've learnt. For the lips of an immoral woman are as sweet as honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is bitter as poison and as dangerous as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to the grave, but she cares nothing about the path to life. She staggers down a crooked trail and doesn't realize it. So now, my son, listen to me. Never stray from what I am about to say. Stay away from her. Don't go near the door of her house. If you do, you will lose your honor. Anyway, so it goes on about, you know, obviously men don't, obviously, in other words, don't cheat.
Men don't cheat.
Don't cheat.
That's the moral.
Yeah, that's literally word for word definitely Provost Vibe. I did a film on this passage.
Wow.
And I don't know why. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember, but I can't. I don't know. I can't quite remember why now. But
did you have like a man and a woman kind of acting out?
Yeah. So I had a man and a woman. It's on YouTube, but it's unlisted. I know it's private because well, I look back and I was thinking, what the heck was I thinking?
I really
like,
want to see this.
The shots are like all over the place, and the angles are funny, but it was basically a guy in the house with his wife, and then he's having like a nightmare, and he's dreaming about this woman, and and then there's a cutaway shot of a woman running, or he's running, I can't remember, but anyway, basically it was this passage word for word.
Okay.
And then he wakes up next to his wife, he's like, oh, and he realizes that this is who I'm meant to be with.
But it's his wife anyway. Where's he going to go now?
No, but he was dreaming about another woman,
okay.
and he was having a nightmare. And as the film goes on, this passage gets read. Maybe I might send it to you to watch. Don't laugh though.
I won't laugh. I might laugh. I might laugh, but it'll be laughing with you.
Yeah.
Not at you.
But yeah, that was my first film project. So my friends helped out because I didn't really know anyone in the industry back then, and I don't know, I was really passionate about like just capturing something on film. And again, being a child of God and my faith influencing every aspect of my life, I thought, okay, this is one way of me, like, you know, putting God's word out there in a visual form. And then, yeah, I think that answers your question, I think.
Yeah, no, it does. It sounds really interesting. I mean, that's we've got like information now, a bit more about
Context.
Yeah, context on your first photography and first film project. So really interesting. I can't wait to see it. I mean, I have to now.
Don't send it to anyone.
Oh, I won't. No. your secret project is safe with me.
I'll do another version.
Updated. Okay.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been in media?
I've been in media including amateur days. I would say about 8 years. Yeah, it's been a while.
Is that including like sixth form and?
That's including no, it's not including sixth form. It's including just at the time I graduated from uni, or entered uni actually, because I was practicing
Already.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did your faith influence and impact your craft? I mean, you kind of touched on it a bit already about how you kind of made your project about Proverbs 5 and built, you know, it was a way of expressing an aspect of your faith. But how did your faith influence and impact your craft in terms of how you go about your work?
Can I be honest?
That's all we want here. Please.
I don't think it has influenced me that much. I don't think I've thought, oh, what does God want me to do with my gift or with this talent of mine? I've just been going off based off like passion, joy, happiness, not really thinking about what my father wants me to do with it, which is very wrong. But then I guess maybe it's because I didn't have people around me to like just point out certain things to me, like this is how you go about certain things in terms of like life, and if you're looking for something for just purpose in general, like what you're meant to be doing and what does God think of you in this very moment, and is he okay with you doing certain things, and is he involved in this aspect of your life? I don't think I had anyone around me to really like guide me in that aspect, so I was just going off based off what I felt and what I knew. So it didn't really have that much of an influence back then, but now it does.
Okay. I mean, don't feel like, oh my goodness, I didn't like let God lead me or whatever. I think a lot of people do find themselves following their passions, and then they're like, oh God, actually I've been doing this for a while, but what more do you want me to do?
Exactly.
Where do you want to take it, you know?
And that's why
it's not like you come out of the womb. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
come out of the womb like, yes, this is my purpose, this is what I'm doing, this is my gifts, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you discover it as you go along.
That's true.
But yeah, exactly. We're gonna touch on what you just mentioned. But this is quite a special take right now for Resolute Stories, because we haven't really spoken to anyone yet who is currently on a break from what they used to or what they do. So I've been asking you questions about what you do, but you're not currently doing it. You're on a sabbatical, as we know. But can you tell us about your journey leading up to it?
Leading up to it.
Yeah.
I think I got to a point, I'm gonna keep it nice, short and sweet. I got to a point I was just like, what am I doing? Like, I wasn't getting any thrill from the photos, the same thrill that I had back when I started. As much as, the photos look amazing and people compliment and refer me on, but it wasn't doing anything for me internally. And like, it wasn't, I didn't feel connected to the craft anymore. So I said to God, like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Am I just making people look good for the sake of looking good? Am I just putting up pictures so people can compliment and boost my ego and make me feel like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing, I'm the best. And I mean, my photos are great.
She's actually a good girl. Yeah.
But that's not enough. So I felt empty. And I called a friend, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing? And then he encouraged me and said a few words, and I was just like, okay, I need to take a step back and actually know why I want to be doing photography. Where is it leading me? What is it doing in God's kingdom? Am I living up my purpose by doing this? And those are the questions I asked myself, and then I was just like, okay, let's just take a step back and understand what's going on, and then figure out where is life going, and then does this have a part to play?
Okay, so how did you know, okay, I'm gonna stop? You know, how did you halt everything? Was it in a day, or was it a couple of days, or a week, or a few months?
It was quite a while. I would say about a year, because people would still come up to me like, oh, Ami, I need to do your photo shoot, or I've got just shoots that they want to get done, or people refer me on, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to do it. But it took a few months.
Okay.
And then I did, my last photo shoot was with, it was a maternity shoot. And then I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like,
sorry, just to pause. You're gonna do my maternity shoot. Excuse me. Sorry, I just had to kind of look that in quickly. Not that I'm pregnant, but
yeah.
You were saying.
It was after the maternity shoot. I just came to a complete stop. I didn't feel. I felt heavy. Something wasn't complete. And if God is not in something, then you're empty. Like, you have no purpose. You don't feel like you're doing the right thing if God is not in it. And I just it took a while. Took a few months up until a year, and then I think my last post on social media was like 2018. How many years ago is that now?
About 4 years ago. When in 2018?
We're in 2022 now, isn't it? Yeah, 4 years.
But like, whenabouts in 2018? Was it at the beginning of the year, like a kind of New Year's resolution sort of vibe?
No, it wasn't even like a New Year's resolution.
Like, I'm gonna end this year or whatever.
No, it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna end it. I always thought I would come back. Like, I thought it was just for a short period of time and then I'll be back. But I don't know. I never got the urge to go back. I didn't get the lead in. I didn't feel led to go back yet. But I'm still discovering when and how and if, and
I can't believe it's been that long though.
Yeah, I mean, I have picked up the camera.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
I know you've done
I don't know if I should say this.
What are you gonna say?
like what I went through picking up the camera. Like I had anxiety
Okay.
picking up the camera. I felt scared to pick up the camera. Like my camera was like this disease. Like if I felt scared to touch it,
Really?
and when I did touch it, I would break down. But I think that was just something else going on internally. But yeah, I would feel like the camera felt like it felt like a disease. Like I couldn't bring myself to like touch it or pick it up, and anytime I would pick it up, I would like burst into tears, and I didn't understand why. I think I'm still even processing what that phase of my life was like. But me trying to pick it up, I was trying to push myself to like, you know, get back, because I didn't think I would be on a break for so long. So a friend of mine, she was doing a film, and she was like, oh, I mean, come and do the BTS for the film. And I was like, oh yeah, it's fine, it's just BTS, it's okay. But when I got to the venue, parked up, and I brought out my camera, I just couldn't, I don't know, I was shaking, I don't know, I felt weird, and I just couldn't get myself into the zone. But that was me trying to tell myself, okay, you're on a break, but eventually you need to get back, so you need to start doing things. You can't just jump straight in. It's like telling somebody to quit smoking. They can't just quit smoking. Like it's a process. So I was trying to get myself through that process of like picking up the camera again and getting back into action, and then start making money from photography. Have it as like another stream of income whilst I focus on other things. But I just never got there, and I still haven't gotten there. I mean, I've gotten there-ish, but I've just left it. I've just parked it to one side for now.
Okay, so that's been 2018 till now.
It's about 4 years.
It's quite a long sabbatical.
It is. Not to say I am touching the camera.
Yeah.
I am, because in my job at the moment, it's a job that I need to be holding the camera and like changing settings, but it's more so film than photography. So it's not that, oh my gosh, any camera that I see, I'm like, oh my gosh.
You're in the front of the camera.
I think it's just my own, I think I'm struggling to figure out what my purpose is for photography. Like, where does God want to take me in regards to photography? If it's just to beautify people and make people look artificial, that's not what God is asking me to do, and that's what I'm repelling against.
Okay.
So I think that's what's pushing me from not like, I don't know, maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But in terms of like outside of my personal work, I'm able to touch the camera. I'm able to like, you know, take photos if somebody needs help taking photos, or in regards to work, we have to film stuff. So I'm obviously having to touch the camera and get things done.
Wow, it sounds like it was more than just something you fell out of. It was actually quite a serious conviction. It was like a conviction.
Yeah, it was.
To stop as you were going, and kind of interesting. Okay, so we know you are a woman of faith. Has God revealed anything to you about this season and about what's next?
He has. God has revealed things to me regarding my life, where my life should be going. I have a spiritual mentor that has literally been by my side, guiding me, just protecting me, and, you know, filling me with knowledge and wisdom, and supporting me with my walk in Christ. So there are certain things that I said or I had written back during the lockdown, and he confirmed it. He confirmed it during times we would speak. He doesn't know that he's confirmed it, but within me, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did you know? Obviously, I know. But there are certain things that I did write down, or I did put down on paper for the next course of my life. This current season that I'm in a planting season, but I don't think I've fully accepted that I'm in a planting season, because we're in a world of like, everything's very fast paced, everyone's doing what they need to do, making money, you feel kind of left behind. So I'm like, I haven't fully accepted it in the sense that I want to be on that same level. I want to be at that same pace everyone's at, so then I can also say, me too, I have gotten, me too, I have. But right now I'm currently in my planting season. I feel like God is doing a lot with me at the moment, to prepare me, to equip me for what He wants me to do in the future. For next season, He has actually revealed what's coming in the next season. I don't want to say it on camera.
Okay, watch this space.
But I just need to be in a space of like, I need to be in the right space. I need to be in the right mindset. I need to be by His side. I need to be leaning on Him on everything and not on my own understanding, because I'm the type of person that I would say A, B, C, D. I would plan everything out chronologically in order, and I would follow it, and I would even have like plan B and plan C and plan D. So I think God right now is just teaching me to just sit with Him and let Him do the work.
Yeah. I can completely relate. Wow, okay, amazing. Okay, I guess what I was going to ask next, what your goals and ambitions for growing Amifel Media are, but if you're sitting and resting with God, then, you know, let Him lead the way. You don't need to tell me that right now. So, cool. So I was going to ask also, how have you seen God's involvement, movement and blessing over Amifel, media? Can you give some examples?
How have I seen God's blessing?
Involvement and movement. Before you stopped, I guess.
Yeah.
I know you said that God wasn't necessarily in it after a while. You weren't sure.
Yeah.
Before though, it was kind of building momentum. Did you ever feel like God's hand was on this, or was it ever just kind of? Okay.
I found favor with everyone, and I can't believe I forgot to mention that earlier. I found favor with everyone and anybody, and it's like favor that I didn't even expect. Like, this person, me, like, what did you see in me? Okay, you give me the opportunity. I didn't even ask for it. Or people just look at me. I don't even have to do anything. They're like, okay, yeah, I want you to come and help in this. I want you to be here. So yes, God has definitely been involved in every aspect of my creative career. Not just creative, but even outside of creative. Obviously, you gotta have that side hustle that's bring you £1 or £2. Like, the creative industry ain't easy. You need a side hustle to get you through. But even in the side hustle, I always found favor with people. And it's when I would reflect back and I'm like, oh, but why did that person give me the chance, or why did they give me the opportunity? And it's just like, it's definitely God, because I did not do anything.
Okay, so what is one or a couple of pieces of advice you'd give to someone starting out in film and photography?
Starting out in film and photography, definitely get a side hustle. Have something that you're doing on the side to help fund your passion. When you're starting out, you're not going to be making money. You're not going to be making any money. You need to learn as much as you can. Be around people that can teach you. And that can, that's one advice. I'll stop there. And second advice is surround yourself with people that know your gift and talents, so they can encourage you. Because as a creator, we get into this little dark space and we're very over analytical about our work, perfectionist to the T, and sometimes it can work as a disadvantage to our craft, to our journey where we're going. So definitely surround yourself with people that are doing the same thing and that can also push you and add value to you. Third advice I would give is I'll just leave it at those two.
Okay, no problem. Cool. All right then. Well, we've kind of touched on the fact that you have a full-time role within the media space.
Yeah.
So So what kind of things do you do in your day-to-day in that role?
Day to day, so I'm an AV technician, an audio visual technician slash producer slash director, just an overall creative. So I'm doing a few things within my role, but it's in events. I came from television, working as an AV tech there. So it's still the same, working with cameras, putting together programs for events, and then filming it, live streaming it. We're in a world of like now things are hybrid, things are virtual, so that is my day-to-day job, working with cameras, putting together programs.
Okay, so that you're the person they call like AV geek.
I'm not an AV geek actually.
No? What's an AV geek? Are they like
they're like the specialists, or like they're the brains behind us, behind me. So they're the ones that know like, okay, there's specific wires that need to, if they, if you plug it into this system, it would do this. And although I do know those things, but they know exactly what the outcome would be. Whereas I know what the outcome would be, but it's like it's a hit and miss, and it's like a trial and error. But I'm not an AV geek. I am not an AV geek.
Is that where you're trying to go?
That is not where I'm trying to go.
Okay.
So I'm in my planting season at the moment. But I think where I'm at the moment is a place where God is just adding to me for me to be able to do what He wants me to do in the future. So I do definitely feel where I'm at right now will definitely it will definitely play a part in my next season, or just in my future in general, what God wants me to do.
Okay. Taking it in stride then.
Yeah.
Cool. I would say, did you always want to be working within media? I know that you're in that role, but you could have maybe done something else entirely different, as a full-time role. Some people have passions and then they do, like, I don't know, finance or whatever.
Yeah. I can't see myself doing anything else. I love creating visuals. I love telling stories. I don't know what else I could have done.
Forensic science, maybe?
Oh no.
So were you ever good at science, or was it just a thing?
No, I wasn't good at science. I had like...
They wanted a doctor.
Yeah. Everyone in my family, that we're all from... people in my family are in careers that are very traditional. I'm like the scapegoat. So...
You mean the black sheep?
The black sheep. I am the black sheep. I'm not a scapegoat.
I mean, to be fair, neither are particularly good in terms of the expression, but I get you mean.
Yeah. But no, I can't see myself doing anything else, so definitely media. Maybe not working for someone, but definitely doing my own work and putting out what God wants me to put out. At the end of the day, this is being here, being in the flesh is just a temporary thing, we're not here forever. We have a forever place that we're going to, so I want to be able to play my part here and do what I need to do, and to please God, essentially, so then He can be happy with me. I've done my part.
Yeah, okay, well then I think the final kind of question around work and career is, can you think of any ways that your current occupation is adding transferable value for you regarding the building of Amifel Media? But that's on break right now, so I don't know if that's really something you're thinking about.
This job has definitely allowed me to see things from a different perspective. It's allowed me to understand business from a different angle. I know that where God is taking me to, I know I'm definitely going to use these skills. And so He's showing me that these are the intricate parts of this work and this job. I'm seeing different aspects of this business, seeing what is like to be in sales. I've never really been in sales before. What it's like to really like plan a whole event, like a live event from start to finish. In addition to like my transferable skills, I feel like God has literally been taking me on a journey of like just picking from different, you know, areas of like business and jobs, because I know where He wants me to be in the future. I'm definitely going to need these things. So allow me to see the detail of the job now. When I get there, when I start hiring people, I'll be able to say, okay, well, I've been here, I know what I'm doing, so I won't be taken unawares, or I won't let people pull the cloth over my, how do they say, what's the saying, cloth over my eyes?
The wool of your eyes, yeah.
Is it wool?
Yeah, wool. Yeah.
Is it wool?
Yes, wool. You're like a wool. It's wool,
Cloth over my eyes.
Let's
Wool
go
over
with
my
that.
eyes.
It's the wool, but anyway. It's fine.
But yeah, it's just making sure that I'm well equipped and I know the details of each aspect of the business, so when I get to where He wants me to be, I'm able to function.
Alright, well, we are almost drawing to the end of the interview, or conversation, shall I call it. But I want to ask you more about your purpose and your life's calling. I mean, it's a bit wider, and I know we've kind of been unpacking that throughout the course of this conversation. Okay, so how significant of a role do you think your work in media will play in the wider picture of your life?
I feel like I'm on a journey. Still figuring it out. I'm still allowing God to take me on that journey and just let go and let Him take full control.
Yeah.
But where I am right now, the things that I've been doing, and where God is taking me to, it's definitely going to add value to the people I meet in the future. I know God wants me to use my gift and my talents to bless other people. So all what I'm going through right now is not in vain. So even if it's the people that I come into contact with, or just what God has set for me to do in a particular season in the future, because I know the details of certain parts of my job, even like the jobs that I've done in the past. I've been in support work, working with young adults, doing projects on my own, like knowing how hard it's been, like starting something from the bottom and working my way up. When that time comes that God wants me to like use all these things, it's definitely gonna come in handy. So I definitely don't think it's all in vain. So yeah, it would play a huge part.
It's kind of like the foundation of what's coming.
Yeah.
Like a really solid foundation from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Planting season.
Yes, planting season, you did say. You
Yeah.
did say. Wow. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Girl, I've been trying to have you since. I'm so happy you're here, and it's been really deep, really insightful.
I hope so.
Yeah, no, it has. I'm like, woo, wow. Blown away, guys. Blown away. And inspired, really. Yeah, thank you for coming all the way down.
Thank you.
Really
for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
You will, of course, get the Resolute Stories swag. Yeah, we have some personalised swag on your way,
Okay.
on its way to you. And yeah.
Thank you
Thanks
for
again.
having me, Cheryl.
So this has been Resolute Stories for August. We've had Amifel Cliff-Eribo, and it's been an amazing conversation. Thanks so much for joining us, and I will see you, by God's grace, in September's edition. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.